last year it was nice if the Mets won.
Right.
This year they have to win. And I thought it would be worthwhile to ask you because you know this, right? Like probably in 84 and 85 with the Mets, it was nice to win. But you had to win in 86 and probably in 87 and 88. Does it change a dynamic within a club when you go through that change of, hey, it would be nice to win to you better win?
Well, I'm glad that you made that comparison because you were absolutely correct about 86. And we remember we won nine. My dog just got up. Um, 90 in 85, we won 98 games and went home.
Right.
And we came to spring training and it was like unfinished business. Cardinals won 102, I believe, went on to the World Series, lost the World Series. So the feeling is it was unfinished business, but Davey was the one, Davey Johnson, that came out. You remember in spring that he expected us to win and not only win, but dominate. You recall that. And
Yes.
I remember, it doesn't matter which reporter came up to me, but a beat reporter came up and said, Davey just made this, stop it. It just made this, comment. And I was sitting in my front of my locker in St. Lucie, and I went, "Oh, really? Okay." And Davey, I think, grew up in the school of Earl Weaver, and throwing out the challenge to us. And we obviously took the challenge and went. Maybe it was psychologically spurned us on to that dominant season. But I feel yes, you can definitely draw comparisons. And I don't think it's a negative. I don't think as an athlete that you're going, this is a veteran team. You look at that lineup, they got veterans there. They've been here. They're hungry. They want to win. And this is also, it's been 39 years. Wouldn't it be nice to be the team that finally won the World Series? It's a great, I can't think of the word, but something to shoot for. And I think they're determined now, whether they get there or not. It's much more difficult now in postseason with the three. You got the wild card, you got the division, and you got the championship series. Anything can happen. You can get bumped off, and very by a wild card team. It happens. But I think it's a positive for them. I think they'll be motivated.
Motivated, definitely. How good do you think this team is? I mean, you were part of one of the great teams of the last 50 years. I guess now, since you said it's 39, so I can easily say one of the last 50 years. Obviously, they brought in Soto. The lineup on paper looks amazing. Still some pitching questions. Overall, what do you think?
Well, I think you pretty much put it all in a nutshell right there. I mean, their offense is going to be very potent. Um, and they've got good balance in the lineup. The addition of Soto, and I just felt that it was critical to re-sign Pete. And even if so, let's just say that Pete had an off year last year. He still hit over 30 home runs. He drove in 80 plus runs. If he does that again, he's still a guy in the lineup that a pitcher he could hit a home run on a mistake, and he's going to be hitting behind Soto. I felt that if Pete had gone, then it was just a switcheroo, and you weren't making an improvement. If Soto becomes the addition to that lineup, then that makes it formidable. So offensively, I'm not worried about the offense, and that's where the veterans are in that club on the Mets. They're a veteran lineup. The pitching is worrisome. You lost two starters. You don't know what Montas is going to bring coming off of surgery. They say he's throwing hard. That and now he hurts himself. He's not going to come back for a while. And of course, Mania. You lose. I don't care who you are. You lose two starters. Even our starting five in the '80s. If we had lost, Gooden and Ojeda, that's hard to replace. I don't care how deep you are going into the minor leagues. So I do think the bullpen's a little better. I would like to see a second left-hander. I've always been a proponent of two lefties in the bullpen, particularly with 13 guys on your pitching instead of 10. I mean, you can't, out of 13 guys, you can't find two left-handers somewhere. I just think it hamstrings the manager. And we've seen it. The Mets have been historically of late only having one left-hander in the bullpen. So it hamstrings the manager. When am I going to use this guy? I got to fifth inning and it's the game's, in the balance, and I'm going to use him there, or do I hold him back to the seventh, eighth, and ninth inning? If you have two, and you can have a journeyman left-hander come in and get a big out. There's got to be some out there, I think. So, but the bullpen, I think, is better. It's a veteran bullpen. The starting pitching is the question mark.